Hello everyone, I'm Gemma Beall. Welcome to Beyond Second Cognition. Endel and I have been telling everyone about this war PSOYCA crew has been fighting for eons. We've also talked about the psychological warfare that is being used against the human population from the virus and from off-world beings and inorganic consciousnesses, and what we've only scarcely mentioned is the war that we are fighting with the Earth human adepts that have been fucking with humanity more than the other assholes and have been continuing to do so to this day. This presentation is going to expose a major New Age topic and the largest tool these human adepts use to attack all humanity, not just us sensitive PSOYCAs, and I want all of you to be aware of what we are up against from these Earth human adepts. The topic of this presentation is lucid dreaming and the dream realm and everything that goes along with it. This is going to be an in-depth presentation based off a decade of my own personal experiences and false perceptions, and spending a lot of time and a lot of energy because I held erroneous beliefs and thoughts regarding to this topic, and because of it came to the wrong conclusions that blinded me from seeing what was really going on. This presentation will also show you how sticking to your perceptions can and will blind you from seeing a much larger picture when new information presents itself. What I'm about to share, which rectifies my own faulty conclusions, is information that has presented itself to me over the past year to date, including information I realized just last night. I do know, even though I can see this and feel this and know that it is truth, I do still know that the information I have is limited to what I share, and I also know more information will present itself to me as I continue to grow my awareness. Before I get into this, I do want to state for new listeners that have not followed our work, when Endel and I began working together 12 years ago, I stopped reading external 3D human stuff so that when we do our comm work with crew out there, I do not have 3D human filters for the information, so this information will be clean and free of filters for me to interpret it through. This also applies to the information I get from within. I'm not familiar with a lot of stuff in the New Age about lucid dreaming or the dream realm except what I learned studying it back before he and I met. All information contained within this video is information I've obtained from within, not externally from any source. This information was obtained through internal questioning of my own personal experiences and internal questioning of experiences shared with me by other people. In my book, The Energy Experience, I have a chapter called The Dream Realm. For those of you that have my book or have read my book, everything I shared in that chapter, with the exception of my personal experiences, was information I felt that I knew at that time from a knowing. But it was not a true knowing because it was obtained through looking through the wrong filters. In my book and that chapter, I told about the dream hits that we would frequently get, and I literally spent more than a decade trying to figure out this realm and why the assholes were able to invade our dreams and torment us through this sleeping state, and I searched for ways to put a stop to it. Not just for myself personally, but for everyone that encounters these type of dream hits. Before I go into the adepts' dream tampering and how and why they do it, I want to share what I understand about why we dream. For those of you that have followed us over at Patreon, you've seen my presentation about the psyche and what it really is. For those of you that haven't joined us over there yet, you are more than welcome to join us over there and see what I've shared about the psyche, as that information is important to understand this. When we were infected by the energetic virus, the HPV virus, it fed off emotional energies. Our physical forms are what generates these emotional frequencies. Our physical bodies require rest and sleep for the body to heal and regenerate its energy-making capabilities. While the body is at rest, the virus would basically starve for food, so it so desperately needed. Science will tell us that we only dream when we have reached the REM stage of sleep, but I know from personal experience in sleep monitoring that dreaming can occur whether this REM stage of sleep has been reached or not. Dreams were a mechanism that the HPV virus used to occupy itself while the physical form sleeps, and it pulls forward from the psyche what it needs to generate emotional energies while the body is at rest. Think about this in your own experiences within your own dreams. Psychologists will tell you that the dream state is where your psyche works out the stress from your day-to-day lives, but they also believe that the psyche is your soul, which it is not. It's a warehouse that the Hapim stored its experiences. Whether the dream cycle was a creation of the Hapim to feed itself or a creation of the being that created the Hapim, I'm not sure, but dreams in and of themselves I feel were the entertainment for the virus in the kitchen it used to make itself meals to feed itself while the body was asleep and not generating the food it so desperately wanted and needed. Dream analysis experts say that there is a meaning to be found in dreams, but you have to consider the dreams playing out the way they do because the scenario cooks a particular flavor of food that the Hapim likes. I know there are many things about the sleep realm that raises a lot of questions, but you have to remember each Hapim was different, even though the behaviors are all alike and very predictable. So what one Hapim liked for food will differ, and since it was the Hapim basically cooking for itself while your body sleeps, then what it concocted in your dreams will be of its choosing, not necessarily a message. But think about how much time and energy you put into trying to figure out the meaning of your dreams once you've awakened. With the virus being gone since late 2016, we shouldn't still be having weird and fucked up dreams, but we still do. In our book, The Second Cognition Toolbox, I explain how our body functions with the Hapim, the body-mind, and the PSOYCA, and that the body-mind has spent a lifetime of mimicking the Hapim virus, and this mimicry extends to our sleep time in playing in the psyche's warehouse and creating scenarios to entertain itself during our sleep time if we allow it. Lucid dreaming is viewed as a superpower by those that still buy into the superhero New Age mentality of looking for bragging rights over laying claim of having this trait. I had always assumed this to be a trait, though I never asked the question until recently if lucid dreaming was in fact a trait. I had asked over the years if I had the trait of lucid dreaming, and I had always gotten a no from PSOYCA. But when I finally broke down and asked if lucid dreaming was a trait, I got the answer no, which changed my perceptions and questions to ask to gain more information about this alleged trait. There will be many people that claim they can lucid dream, and I even stated in my book that I was only able to lucid dream when I had an intruder in my dreams. But as I move through this presentation, the pieces will fall together to make that make sense. First, let's look at dreaming done by the individual and their abilities to take control of the dreams. If the dreams themselves were created by the virus from what it stored in the individual's psyche, then it makes sense that our PSOYCA is or should be able to influence some control over the dream itself if they are able to become lucid within the dream. But I ask this question: to what purpose does an individual need to be lucid within the dream if the dream is only a creation of their Hapim, or now body-mind? This isn't a question to discount a person choosing the state of dreaming to use as their tool for consciousness, to control, to work things out, or to make it a tool for growth. This is a question for others to understand why it could be beneficial, and a goal with an understanding of that purpose. If you are wanting to lucid dream so you can sneak into another person's dream, well, that's not lucid dreaming, and you will understand the process as I continue. I explained in my first book about the hits I received and the different textures of my dreams when I would have a dream invader. I use the terminology in my book of others being able to lucid dream, and that is how they would intrude into my field, and I even explain how I perceived that intrusion taking place as I perceived it way back when, and when I wrote the book. At that time, and for a decade, I was missing a crucial piece of information that would have led me to greater understanding sooner if I would have asked the right questions. Lucid dreaming is not going into another person's dream. It is only you controlling your dream. Going into another person's dream is done so via the trait of telepathy. Dream invasions are 100% telepathic intrusions by skilled adepts. Don't assume that these skilled adepts are adults. They are also the discarded children of society that show traits that these skilled adepts are looking for, and they take them in and train them to use their traits of telepathy in a method of tormenting and controlling the population and unsuspecting humans through the dream state because it doesn't leave a paper trail to follow. These children are trained by skilled adult adepts, and they are part of a very large network of assholes on this planet that do this as a day job. They are paid labor by the secret societies and the theosophical assholes. Can I prove this with a paper trail? No. But I do stand by this assertion based off a long time of battling these assholes through this dream state and awakened state. As for why they do this, I can only speculate here, but I feel that they do it to keep us tired and distracted from raising our awareness. When we get these dream hits, they are not only preventing our physical bodies from getting the rest required for us to function properly, they also keep us distracted with trying to figure out why we have these messed up dreams. They also use these invasions to lay programs and triggers within our form and our psyches that they can trigger at any time or any place of their choosing. For a long time, I did erect shielding around my brain to protect myself from these intrusions, but they continued to happen because I held the erroneous perception of how these invasions were taking place. My first assumption that it was lucid dreaming, a trait, and they were invading through the frequencies that my brain emits during sleep. Neither of those perspectives are correct. They do this by using their telepathic trait, and they enter by means of the psyche, not the brain. Remember, the psyche is not the soul or PSOYCA, nor is the psyche contained within the confines of the brain. This seems to be pretty cut and dried, but it's not, and the process of gaining access to our psyche has an energetic basis that most people do not realize and are not aware of. In countless videos and books, we have talked about how we give our energies away, not just our PSOYCA energies, but the energies our form emits that go beyond our field, and we toss them out into the ether without a second thought unless we know how to control our energy emissions, and we protect our energies once they move beyond our field. Our energies, whether they are PSOYCA energies or energies produced by the physical form, have a unique and distinctive energetic signature like a thumbprint. Most people cannot distinguish the difference from one energy to another, but someone trained in reading the subtle differences in these energies can do this. Our energy signatures may not be able to tell them age, name, and location, political affiliations, or lack thereof, but it can act as a beacon to the source of the energies, which is your PSOYCA and or your form. I've used the analogy before that people tossing out their energies isn't like throwing cash into the wind. With cash, someone else can pick it up and it becomes theirs and is no longer the person who threw it out there. There is no connection. This situation is literally like handing a stranger your ATM card along with your PIN number, and they can withdraw your cash anywhere and anytime they want. These energies we emit, unless we know how to shield it and how to stop tossing it out into the wind, can lead any of these telepathic adepts to our doorstep and give them access to our psyches. Not just to mess with our dreams, but to implant hidden programs within the physical form and implant the triggers to the programs in our psyches as we sleep. This is a very scary scenario, I get that, but discard the fear you might feel in learning this and sober up. You will know it's the truth. And it is the truth that I have experienced repeatedly, as have Endel, and I don't have enough appendages, and neither does Endel, between he and I to count the number of people we've encountered that are experiencing this, if not daily, but on a consistent enough basis that we all know this is the reality we are living and fighting in this energetic war. There is a solution to this problem, but it's not an energetic solution that will work for everyone. It will take pragmatism, sobriety, cunning, skill, and conscious intent and a creative measure on behalf of everyone that wants to put a stop to this dubious practice at the hands of these brilliant and skilled assholes, even if only for yourself. I've dropped this advice in my book in several videos, but I've not come out and made a bucket list of what you can do. So here is a very short bucket list just to get you start thinking in the right direction. 1. Stop giving your energies away. Even if you do not intellectually know or understand what you are doing, it doesn't take skill or a rocket scientist to emphatically state with sheer intent, I will no longer unconsciously give away my energy particles to anyone, foes or loved ones, and mean it. Even if I do so ignorantly, give my energies away, and energy I emit or give away is sealed and will not be able to be used by any other being other than myself, nor will it be able to be used as a doorway or a beacon to reach me or encroach upon my PSOYCA, my form, or my being in any way, shape, or form by anyone, especially someone without impeccability as defined by PSOYCA. Remember, PSOYCA is your own individual consciousness. 2. Never ever give anyone absolute permission to access your energy field. Intent and words do not have to be in alignment with each other, and a lot of skilled adepts know that PSOYCA will not encroach into anyone's field without permission. What is said or intended can always hold a loophole, so any healer or energy practitioner that asks your permission to scan you or to work with your energy field, you need to state with words and aligned intent that you do, if you give them permission, that permission only allows them access for the duration of that one session and not beyond it. Never ever give anyone absolute permission to access your energy field. Even if you do allow it, you state with intent, even if only to yourself, that no harmful programs or energies can come into your field or your body or be embedded in your form or your psyche or your energy field, regardless of the impeccability of the other person, because those skilled adepts can create links to the energy practitioner and coast in on their energies if the energy practitioner is using or has used any form of Reiki energy. Those New Age energetic means were designed to be a backdoor into any energy practitioner for shit like dream hits or any other kind of hits. I learned this one by being one of those back doors, so I'm not just speculating or poking at people here. And if you have an energy healer or an energy practitioner that gets offended by you restricting their energetic permission to that one session, or even questioning the impeccability of this session, run. Because any person of impeccability is not going to be offended by you protecting yourself by any means. Even if you do not believe your consciousness and your physical form are individual, you need to at least entertain the idea, because the energetic emissions of both stand separate and alone. They are not combined, and energetic harnessing and programming is specific to the energy or energies used, not the energies or energies perceived. I feel this script is long enough, and I'm going to stop here, even though there's a lot more information, because I want others to engage this topic within and ask questions in the forum to expand beyond it. Endel and I have moved our works over to the Patreon channel, and that channel is for more detailed information on stuff like this, because we are being monitored by these asshole adepts, and I'm not going to give them our solutions for free. If they want to pay for it, then they can come and join us over there and pay for it. For those of you that do want access to the more detailed solutions on this journey, join us over there at Patreon, and realize that the monthly fee is for keeping trolls and the tourist at bay, so those of us that are serious about this path can have a private and open discussions about these kind of topics, so we can all help each other expand. The monthly fee is an investment by you into your own development. I want to thank everyone for listening. I'm Gemma Beall. For those of you doing the work, stay the course and don't give up on yourself.